Hey everyone, it's Caroline. I can't be with you in person today to discuss my policy memo, so I made you this little video. My main question was, do lower levels of education correlate with distaste for and/or distrust for science and scientists? Reason why, negative attitudes towards science can have real consequences for policymakers. When individuals have distaste for and/or distrust of science and scientists, they may not want to support policies that are science-based, like getting vaccines or preparing for climate change by making the codes better for buildings. So policymakers lose a powerful weapon to justify the efficacy of policies in these areas when this distaste does exist. I examined this because I think we need to know who has this distaste and this distrust so we can do science-positive outreach to these populations and better support science policies. There's a large body of literature that does indeed support this perception. So I was hoping by looking at the General Social Survey data from 2016, I could fall in this general trajectory. So I had one independent variable. It was level of education, and I coded it into 3 levels, 0 to 11th grade, 12th grade to 3 years of college, and 4 or more years of college. And I excluded the given values of don't know and no answer. So I paired this independent variable with 3 dependent variables, which were thinking scientists are odd or peculiar, thinking scientists work for the good of humanity, and thinking science research is necessary and should be supported by the federal government. For these dependent variables, they were given in 4 levels: strongly agree, disagree, and strongly disagree. So I excluded don't know, no answer, and not applicable in my analysis. The variables are measured on ordinal categorical scale. And I used a Pearson chi-square test of general association to figure out whether or not there was a relationship between the independent variable and each of these dependent variables. And I also performed a Spearman rank correlation coefficient to determine if there was a positive or negative association. So I had 3 sets of hypotheses. I had a null and an HA about level of education in each of these dependent variables, with of course the null being no association and the HA being yes, there is an association, for example, between level of education and thinking scientists are odd or peculiar. With my results, so for the first set of hypotheses, I found that the chi-square was significant at the with a p-value that was less than 0.001. And the Spearman's rank correlation coefficient was also significant and positive. So I supported HA, and generally speaking, there is an association between education level and whether you agree that scientists are odd or peculiar, and it was positive. So this indicates that as education level goes up, the less the respondent agrees that scientists are odd. Then for my next set of hypotheses, I found that the chi-square was significant. There is a general association between education level and thinking scientists work for the good of humanity. However, the correlation coefficient, Spearman's rank, was not significant. So I supported HA, but was not able to see if there was a clear increasing or decreasing relationship between the variables. So generally speaking, there is an association between education level and thinking scientists work for the good of humanity, but I can't see if there's a simple relationship, whether they're positively or negatively associated. And then for my last set of hypotheses, I found that there is an association between education level and thinking science research is necessary and should be supported by the federal government. And I found that this relationship was negative. So I also supported HA in this case, and generally speaking, as education levels go up, more respondents think science research is necessary and strongly support federal funding for scientific research. So like I said, a lot of literature also supports these conclusions. And other researchers have also looked at the General Social Survey data in the same way I did, but they supplemented it with other data, for example, from the American National Election Study and the Longitudinal Study of Generations. I thought a really big limitation of my report was the fact that the General Social Survey doesn't reflect America's geographic and demographic differences. Only 3,000 people are surveyed. I'd love to look at like just Wisconsin or just Florida or just like women in Florida and like see what's going on with attitudes towards science, but I can't do that with the GSS. And there might be other confounding variables. Maybe political affiliation is a better predictor of distaste for science and scientists. However, other researchers do address this, so I think levels of education is still a really great indicator, and my research is still important. I'm almost over time, but I just wanted to mention why I was inspired to do this. So, in my spare time, I work with SciStarter, engaging ordinary people in conducting real scientific research. So, we get people of all ages involved in things like looking at videos of brains to see stalls and help do research on Alzheimer's and things like that. I think it's really important and cool. I thought this memo provided great evidence to justify the vitality of our outreach to adults. If we do reach out to adults with lower levels of education, we could hopefully garner and support more positive attitudes towards science and scientists. That would make policymakers' jobs easier because they may have more support from these people now for science-based policies, and it could make the world a better place. So, go science! And thanks for listening to me.